All right. Good evening, everyone. Joe Corley here, and to my left or right, depending on where you're sitting and standing, and whether you're looking in the mirror or not, is Grandmaster Ernie Reyes. Master Reyes, it's so great to see you, sir. And below us is the knower of all things, Jeff Smith.
Hey guys. Hey guys.
Yeah,
What an honor to be here with two icons.
yeah, yeah. And I am tonight wanting to speak to Master Reyes about the upcoming event. We have the pleasure of honoring him July 30th and 31st in Las Vegas. For those of you in Rio Linda, that's Las Vegas, Nevada. It's a state that is contiguous to California, and Master Reyes is on the cover of the new Who's Who in the Martial Arts. The series is called the Changing Lives series, and he's got a tremendous article that's going to appear in this book that talks about how he started, how he got to America, and all the things that he's been able to enjoy and be part of, and all the people that he's been able to motivate and inspire, and all the different projects. In fact, when I read it, I told Grandmaster Reyes this. When I read it, I decided this needed to be a 6-part Netflix series. It is so great.
And still inspiring and leading martial artists to this day continually.
Yes, absolutely. And so I was going to start off by asking him one of the quotes that he had we kind of start here. If you don't mind, Ernie, we'll just kind of skip through, these last few decades. But you said the only thing I created when I was a kid was havoc. And I love that phrase. Tell us about that.
Well, when I started grammar school, basically, I really was MIA, missing in action. I never went to school because I was just really introverted, kind of shy.
Too smart already.
Not that way, right? Street smart, but anyway, I couldn't read or write, and so I had a hard time during grammar school.
Wow.
You flunked first grade and actually kindergarten and first grade, right? Yeah, it was a really tough times for me, and so I was always constantly. I went to Catholic school, and the nuns were the ones that taught us during that time, right? So they had a ruler, and they would rule by the ruler, right? And a lot of times I'd have to go to the higher up because they would take me to the Monsignor priest, right? He carried the big stick at that moment in time. I was constantly going to the principal's office either for creating havoc or disrupting the classes or a lot of fighting at the moment.
And the Catholic schools back then were noted for their disciplinary action. They were not one to spare the rod.
Then I graduated to junior high school. Then we had the Jesuit brothers that did it then, but they had the board of directors, right? So they actually had a board with holes in it, and any infraction that you did today, talking in class, chewing gum, throwing paper on the sidewalk or whatever, you'd line up at the end of the day, and I was always the first one in line.
Yeah, you were always number one in your class.
So, it was all about sports for me. That's the only thing I really loved about school back then, what I'm saying? So it took me a while. And then about in 11th grade, I really decided that I didn't want to be the dumb guy anymore. So I got my friends that were really great athletes, and they were all going to all different universities. I didn't even know where I was going to go, but I said, I'm going to just model these guys. And so I started getting on the honor roll, eventually graduated from San Jose State University.
Wow. Yeah. I think you got your business degree there, did you not?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But I'm asking Jeff for questions about business.
That's impressive. That's impressive.
And then your kind of your mantra over the years has been, as you said, it's all about team and family. So do you think that this early experience that you had in mentoring your teammates and leading your teammates really kind of set the stage for the way you have treated your students in your school and the way you've led them in these world titles? And does it come from there, you think?
Yeah, definitely. It comes from the root as well. You know what I'm saying? The school, you're saying, dynamic that I went through and the challenges that I had, because basically sports made me feel, because they would always, I was the dumb guy, but they would always say, hey, we want you to be the captain of the team.
Yeah,
So
you were picked first, right?
I didn't know that at a moment in time, already the seed was planted in me to be the leadership, right? Because that would always help them. I was always care for them, and saying that they would really pay attention to me. That was the only time they would pay attention to me, or otherwise I'd beat them up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I like that. It reminds me of our late dear friend Jim Harrison, where he would sit between the student and the door and say, there's two ways you can leave this room. Number one, you enroll as a student. Number two, you get to fight me. So
no pain, no gain, right?
that's right. Yeah. And so for many of the people that are younger, that don't know the story, it's one of my favorite stories of all time. It was how George Chung, called me day after day after day. I gather he was one of your 16-year-old black belts, and you must have given him instructions to get the to get the team signed up, and probably in the next 2 or 3 days. And so he calls me. He says, "My name is George Chung. I'm a black belt with the West Coast demo team, and we're really good, and we'd like to come and be on the stage at the Battle of Atlanta in the finals. So what do you think?" And I said, "Well, let me think about it, and I'll get back to you." So the next day he calls and he says, "Did you think about it?" And I said, "Well, yeah, I did, but not very much. I've got some other stuff to think about. I'll keep thinking." So he keeps calling every day, and finally I say, "Well, come on out and we'll schedule you guys, on stage." But was he afraid to come back to you and say, I didn't get it done?
Yeah, pretty much. It was like, really, to be honest with you, George wasn't one of my best black belts coming
Yeah.
up.
Wow.
He made a transformation probably about red belt, because we have
Yeah.
red belt, right? That's when he really made the transformation, and just something got into him, really, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
That's the first thing that he does, right? So the first day he comes in, I said, you have to put the uniform on, go put the uniform on. And back in the old school days, right, my school was very small, 1,200 square feet. We had carpet on there, and people sweat.
Yeah, it smells good. Yeah.
And Jeff even went to my school one time too, just back in the day. And it was the smelling, that alone would knock you out, right?
That's how they got so tough.
Yeah, we didn't have doors, right? It was curtains, right? He'd come up with the curtains, he'd go, "Da-da, I'm ready." I said,
That's so George.
"You 10 push-ups right now." So he was just worked extremely hard, and really all of my demo team people, they gave 110%. Basically, it's old school. We all went to old school training. You know how that is, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, whatever I put on these guys, they were there. They'd give 110. There was never any days. You know how he goes crazy, going off and keoping loud and all that kind of stuff, and my whole team did it. And there was never one day that he never had that energy. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
He was a special guy. And he just had the charisma and showmanship too.
Yeah. Now on July 30th, we're going to have a book signing, so you and hopefully as many of your people that are in the book will be there to sign books for people. We'll do a kind of a live Facebook broadcast that day. And then I think your friend Mark Gary is going to have a great suite there at the Venetian Hotel. And we're going to have some pre-event and post-event parties there. And so we're inviting everybody that we know to come in and have a good time with you there. And I know I was trying to keep a secret from you that after we finish with you on that night, July 31st, and have all these great things to say about you, that our friend Robert Goldman is gonna reward you with this Icon Award, which Jeff and I were, fortunate enough to get. What was it, Jeff? 2018 that we did that, or 1919? Yeah. I can't remember which century it was, but it was a few years ago.
It was pre-pandemic.
Yeah.
Pre-pandemic.
Yeah.
That's how we keep track of everything now. Was it pre-pandemic or post-pandemic?
Yeah. So we hope to have just a blast, a lot of people out there.
Joe, could you clarify for everybody? Everybody might not have seen that book with Master Reyes on the cover. Could you tell us a little bit about what the book looks like and how they can get a copy?
I sure
So they
can.
can get a signature. Will they be available there?
Yeah, they will be available there, and most of the people that will be seeing this interview are people that have been nominated, to be in the book. It's like I said, it's called the Changing Lives series, and so you have people like you guys who have, well known to everybody, who have changed so many lives. But there are people doing that, in their areas, and they may not be well known to everybody, but if they've been in business for 5 years or 10 years or 20 years, they've changed so many lives already. And so this isn't like one of those pay for your position in a hall of fame. It's where you actually get to tell your story, your biographical story in there. And of course, Ernie's will be the main one. Last year, as you guys know, we dedicated it to Chuck Norris. He was on the cover, and that was number 5 in the Changing Lives series. This one is number 6. So as we did with Chuck last year, where we got to talk about his family and all of his organizations, the UFAF and the Kickstart organization, same kind of thing is gonna happen with Ernie and his group. So we hope all of his school members will be able to be in the publication.
And you say that this recording that we're doing will go to all those people that are in the book, and they'll probably post it on their Facebook page for all of their students. So there's going to be quite a bit of viewing of this, and that's why I was asking some of those questions, because I figured there'd be some novice black belts or people in there that don't know all, what's going on.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you asked that question, because it reminds me it's all being held along with Del Weston's Action on Film Megafest. And so we'll have martial arts filmmakers from all over the world will be there with us at the location. They'll actually be there from July 26th to the 31st. So they'll have shorts and long films. They'll have everything. They'll have stunt awards and everything going on that week. And when they go to the who's who in the martial arts.com, all of that information is there. So
and we were fortunate enough to be able to go to Del Weston's awards ceremony, kind of like the smaller version of the Academy Awards, and got to see all of these martial arts movie stars receive all of these special awards. And I know Master Reyes is a big star, has done a lot of movies along with Ernie Jr. and his black belt. So this is right up his alley completely.
Yeah, maybe that's a good piece of history that not many people would be aware of. Master Reyes, tell us about how you guys went from sorry guys,
put them on hold.
Yeah.
From the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to all the other ones with Conan and all these other movies. And my favorite one, was it the Surf Ninjas?
Yes, sir.
What was the order that those happened? What was the first one?
Well, what ended up happening was we did a demo in Las Vegas. In Las Vegas, and
full circle.
It's amazing just thinking about it. So Benny Urquidez was fighting that night in full contact, right? Yeah. So we went and did the demo, and that's where we met, our manager Sally Baker, right?
George called them and asked if they could do y'all could do.
Well, we were bar on that point. On that point, so it was Joe was the stepping stone, right? So we elevated.
Yeah. We were at the bottom rung on the ladder.
So then she saw us and she said, "Hey, I would really be interested in, really managing your son and yourself, right? Whatever." And I was thinking, this lady's fluffy, right? People say a lot of things. So I said, "Oh, let's take the card. We'll think about it, whatever, right?" And then we got into, the circuit and everything else. And plus, I didn't want to leave all my champions, right, from all of our we had like about 9 champions, national champions from our school.
Wow.
Really just from our school, not recruiting, how they do these
Yeah,
days.
internal. That's
Yeah.
the best way.
Homegrown, pretty much, except for Cynthia, right? She's the one that pretty much joined in with us, right? But she had to go through our black belt training anyway on top of that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I made her start all over again.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then we were there, and then, I said, oh, forget it. And then after a while, I just said, hey, I think we got a great message of martial arts, and we have to be able to expand some way. So I asked Donna, right, who's our manager and part of our demonstration team coordinator, said, where's the card? She lost the card. Well, it wasn't until after 6 months, she was cleaning out her purses, and then she found the card, right? And I said, I'm going to phone the lady. So I phoned the lady, and she goes, I don't know, it's been a while. You know what I'm saying? Things are different, whatever. I said, listen, we'll come down, we'll do a demo, and Ernie do a monologue for you too, so you can see that he can act too on top of it. So we went there and did it, and she was blown away. And then
Wow.
from there, we met Barry Gordy.
Yeah.
Motown.
Yeah, Motown wasn't into movies, the first movie that or television. So we were part of that first initiation of everything. They were doing The Last Dragon. And so they saw us and they go, you know what, we want to write your son in because we're at the end of this movie, but we want to create a starring role for him, right? We're going to wrap it up within the next 3. We want him to come down. We want you to choreograph the fight scenes. We want you to have your demo team there also.
Wow.
So that's how it all started right from there. Then we did Red Sonja with Arnold Schwarzenegger after that. And then from there, ABC, we went to all the networks, went to every network, right? And did demos, and right in front of a small office like this, we were doing the demos. He did his monologue and everything. And then ABC finally picked it up. And that was The Last Electric Night to Sidekicks. Then from Sidekicks, we did Surf Ninjas right from there. And then Ernie also did with Pat Johnson, right? Pat Johnson phoned me and said, hey, would Ernie like to be a Ninja Turtle? I go, yeah, it's fine. I'll tell him, right? So they hooked him up, Pat hooked him up, and then he became the pizza boy the next time around.
Yeah.
Right? Number 2. So that ended up happening, right? So yeah, it started all that, and then Ernie had the opportunity when he got a little, or do the rundown with The Rock, and got to beat up The Rock. I don't think too many people get to beat up The Rock, but Ernie Jr. did that rundown.
That's great.
It's been pretty exciting, and it was tough times for us. We lived in my aunt's garage when we went there, and it was bad side of the LA. Helicopters are going overnight.
Yeah.
It was a bad area, but we trained in my aunt's backyard, you know what I'm saying? And martial arts kept us alive, you know what I'm saying?
And
Yeah.
was Conan after that one?
Yeah, it was Red Sonja.
Oh, that was Red Sonja.
Red
Yeah.
Sonja. He was already doing, he already did the Conan movies.
I
But
see.
Then they had him come with Bridget Nelson to do and I sat by him and I talked to him, I mean, every night we'd work out too, but every night he'd work out. It didn't matter how many 16 hours, how movies are, right? 16 hours a night.
Yeah.
He'd still go to the gym. Every single night he'd be going to the gym. And
Wow.
I talked to him one time and he goes, yeah, one of these days I want to have a kid like you, right? And he goes, another thing is I want to get into politics too. He goes, I'm going to get into politics, right?
Really?
Yeah, it was back in those Conan days that this guy had that mindset already.
Wow. Wow. Well, now, July 30th, 31st, I'm excited about it. I really am. I feel as excited about this as we did with the Chuck Norris piece last week. And we haven't known you quite as long as we've known Chuck, but, almost. And I know you're going through a really challenging time right now. So tell us about this. You're going through a challenging time, but you're never missing the gym. That's what I love.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I've been, it's 2016, I was diagnosed with the prostate cancer.
Yeah.
Immediately had to do my prostate. And this was right before our mastery test too, right? It's like
Wow.
3 months before, and still try to make it through. And I was just lucky on the day of the actual show that I revived. I just revived some kind of way. It was just, it was amazing that I was able to do the demo, take people through the testing and all that other kind of
We
stuff.
call that divine intervention.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I was blessed, you know what I'm saying? And then so from 2016, I was fine for a couple of years. And then in 2018, they could see my PSA started to rise slightly, but they said it shouldn't be rising because you don't have a prostate anymore, right?
Yeah.
So at the end of last year, yeah, I was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer.
Wow.
So besides that, I feel fine. Really, besides that diagnosis, I feel
Yeah.
fine. I train every day. Joe and I were talking this morning, and I was right in front of the gym. Hey, are we going to be able to do this? And whatever you want me to do, I'm there for you and Jeff. You know what I'm saying? And let's just make this happen. So yeah, I train 24/7, 365 days. I don't miss one day. I'm just grateful to be alive. You know what I'm saying? Really, to be honest.
You're
Yeah.
a true inspiration for all martial artists, and for me for many years, and just your whole school and your operation and all of your black belts and so many champions. I mean, you've been really on the forefront of the martial arts competition with your people, and like you said, they were all homegrown, which a lot of schools, they bring in champions when people are starting to come up and then they come on board with them. But these were all homegrown kids, and you were winning the junior divisions, the women's divisions, and then the adult divisions. I mean, you were dominating all of the different divisions all the way across the board, which is so impressive.
Yeah.
Thank
No
you.
question.
Yeah. And then it was the greatest moment when both you and came to we had the West Coast Nationals, right?
Yeah.
And I really appreciate you guys coming there. And it's just part of great Grandmaster Tony's. He's been a big part of my life. He's pretty much retired right now, right? But yeah, what I'm saying? We really appreciate you guys from way back then, what I'm saying, to where we are right now. We appreciate you guys like brothers to us.
Yeah, and Tony is done, so much in the martial arts too, from competing himself to helping you run your schools and the whole organization. And I find that happens a lot of times. Some of the strongest organizations are the ones that have depth at the top. It's not necessarily one person, but the people that you surround yourself with that are able to carry on the tradition and uphold it at all times across the board.
Yeah, and we even produced, full contact karate back in the day too. And then, so my passion was, saying really teaching. I just love teaching. As a matter of fact, I'm on uniform because I got to go teach after this. but anyway, yeah. So we gave it to Scott Coker. You know what I'm saying? We gave it to one of my students, Scott Coker. You know what I'm saying?
I know.
President of Bellator MMA. And so.
Which is one of the big organizations. I mean, and there's another wing or another leg of your organization, at the forefront of martial arts competition. And Ernie Jr. did full contact too and was competing in that too, wasn't he?
Yes, sir. Yeah, he was on ESPN, one of the ESPN shows. Yeah.
I was impressed when I saw that, because everybody remembers him from, doing his forms and all, his demos, and they and Ninja Turtles and all that, Surf Ninjas and all that, and didn't realize that and I didn't realize that he was a full contact fighter too, and had time. I know how much dedication it takes to do full contact and all the other stuff that was going on. I was very much, it took my respect to him to another level.
Yeah, because originally, really, we were a fighting school. You know what I'm saying? Taekwondo was our thing, and again, I was made on the United States national team on 1977. Right, I was again captain of the team. They voted me. The little guy went all the way up to becoming captain of the Taekwondo team. So the USA flag was just a special moment, in my life. Yeah, I'm saying. Yeah.
Well, I know you got things to do, so I want to try to finish this with the thing that really wrapped its arms around everything that's happened in your life. I want you to talk to us about this quote. It said, "My goal as a West Coast world martial art teacher and leader is this saying: team, together everyone accomplishes mastery. Team is good, but mastery of family is the ultimate. It is the greatest." So everybody that's excelled around you has been brought into that magic. So tell us about that. Tell us how you feel about that, and then we'll let you go about taking care of business out there.
Yes, I was fortunate to be able to be not only a proud martial arts teacher, but a proud parent, right? And stop and think about, for all of us, right? Our families are the most treasures of our life, right?
Sure.
able to have all my kids really go through at least up to 18 years old, right? To be under the West Coast World Martial Arts Association, right? To have that basic core values is it's always been about team and family for Grandmaster Tony and myself. You know what I'm saying? And we became more than just teams, because there's teams and there's teams, right? But when
Yeah.
you see a school, when I look at a school, I'm going, okay, it's good. They might be making a lot of business, whatever, which is great. It's important that we have business, but my main thing is they have a family atmosphere, and we all seen it, right? We've all seen
Yeah.
our schools or certain instructors that we have, and man, they create a certain atmosphere that it has to start from the top, though. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
always about the heart and soul that we bring to make sure that we're not more than just a team. We're a family.
And,
I love it.
you know, Joe and I were both so honored to award you and Tony both your 10th degree through the PKA, you know, organization, because you guys have done so much for the organization, and you know, what your well-deserved 10th degree for you and Tony both. I just want to congratulate you again on that.
Yeah, it was one of my highlights of my life, really, to be honest with you. You know what I'm saying? Especially, you know, people see me and I definitely have energy, and I'm going to bring the energy no matter what every single time, right? But there's times when people don't know. It's like, you know, you could get to the point of being depressed, really, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like certain things that, you know, us coming back like full circle means more to me than you guys could really imagine, right? Because it all becomes about spirituality within ourselves and this divine spirit up there, right? Looking over all of us. And I'm happy that we're all still here, you know what I'm saying? Because again, people are not here, right? So many of our friends, as we get older, we're still around, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And you got to, you know, recognize those who, you know, who did so much for so long before they're gone. You know, I mean, like Master Raye, you know, just a few years ago he passed, and Ed Parker and Robert Treyas, and a lot of these big masters who passed. You know, a lot of them towards their later years, people started forgetting about them and not recognize them as much. And that was one of the things that Joe and I wanted to make sure that we can recognize as many of our real, you know, champions and grandmasters. So everybody has a written record and history of it. Is why it's so important that, you know, Jesse Bowen has done such a great job with his Who's Who, and getting them on, you know, the right people on the covers with Chuck and you, and telling all the other, you know, martial artists who might not have been, you know, big champions or anything, but who did a lot for their martial arts and their community. And it's great to have a record of that. And that's why years ago when Jesse first put that book together and Joe called me about it, I was very happy that somebody was taking the time and the dedication, because it takes so much work. As Joe and I found out the first year when he did it, it takes so many hours to put those things together and get all of that information to be accurate and everything. So I'm just so glad that we were able to get you on the cover and put you down in that history book, so people will know for, you know, 50 years from now, they'll look back and know who these great people were back then.
Yes, sir. Yeah, and like you said, you know, all those they were the pioneers of martial arts, and so I'm happy you guys are making them relevant. You know what I'm saying? For historically relevant means a lot.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing you at the end of July there in Vegas. And Joe, it sounds like you got a full card, you know, with Del Weston's a mega fest going on.
Yep.
with all the awards for all the martial arts movie stars and stuntmen and writers. And they do all kinds of awards for anything that has to do with the movies. You know, that's going to be big. And then of course Jesse's and the autograph sessions with Grandmaster Reyes, and then to top it off, I guess Master Robert Goldman will be doing his big icon awards too. So what a great weekend for everybody that's any kind of fan of martial arts. great opportunity to
Yeah.
see Grandmaster Reyes and all these other great martial artists.
Yeah, and it'll be good to see everybody in person and a little normalcy to our lives, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we love you, my friend, and we're gonna have some big hugs and some big fun out there. And it's just July 30th, what, June 1st. So it's almost about 2 months
45
from
days.
yesterday, right? So it's
40
May 31st. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, about 2 months exactly, huh?
Yes, sir. All right. Well, thank you for everything, my friend. And we look forward to seeing you in 2 months, and we'll talk a lot in the meantime.
All right. Love you guys. Peace.